Bentledge out of the St. Louis Dairy Council. We have so much to talk about. Kelsey, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. And it's June Dairy Month. So yes, there's always lots to talk about during June Dairy Month.
What better time for the Dairy Council than June Dairy Month? Let's talk to us a little bit about what June Dairy Month is going to bring for you and your team.
Yeah, so June Dairy Month, it used to be way back in the day, 1937, known as National Milk Month. Really, it's progressed over the years. The way that it started was the cows were producing more milk because they were eating more grass, and all of that wonderful stuff. But now it's just a really good opportunity to celebrate our dairy farmers and all that they do to produce delicious and nutritious dairy foods for us.
Sounds awesome. And you look around here, you drive around, you see cows all over the place. They're very plentiful now. So we have a nice month to celebrate the cows and all the things they do for us.
The dairy farmers and the cows, because, the cows are the ones giving us the milk. So
Absolutely. So with the St. Louis Dairy Council, what are some of the fun things you guys have planned for the month?
Well, June Dairy Month is a very busy month for us. We are out all month long celebrating June in a lot of different ways. One way is with our new mobile dairy classroom. That is a new project that we have at the Dairy Council that is touring the area in the month of June. So that's the biggest thing that we're doing this month.
Awesome. So that's the Dairy Council, and you guys are moving around the area, spreading the word of dairy and all the good things they can do. What are some of the big messages you guys are promoting right now?
So with the mobile dairy classroom, this is actually an exciting new venture that we're doing to kind of connect people to their food. So kind of like a farm to food experience. It is literally a 32-foot milking parlor on wheels where we are bringing an actual cow to people and giving them the opportunity to see it be milked. The statistic is actually that 98% of people are not connected to a farm in any way, not just dairy farms, any farms. So only 2% of the population are connected to farming and to their food. So our goal and our mission with this mobile dairy classroom is to connect people to their food by showing them a dairy cow and it being milked and where those dairy foods come from. So that's our new venture here for June Dairy Month. So
awesome. We ran a story a little bit earlier talking about this mobile classroom, and I was really excited to hear about it. And I listened to that statistic, 2%. It makes sense. 98% of people don't know, and 2% are kind of involved in farms of some way. And we have another ad that runs that says, if you eat, you too are a part of agriculture. And I get that too. No one really knows, where their milk's coming from, their dairy coming from, or the process of obtaining it. What was the name of that cow?
Louise. She's
okay.
A famous cow now because of the St. Louis District Dairy Council. Louise, it just made sense.
Got it. So what are the age ranges that you visit schools with that mobile classroom?
So we go to a lot of different schools, and really the age range doesn't matter because all kids can learn from seeing a cow being milked and learn about dairy farms and dairy foods. But during the summertime, she goes to more like fairs, like she'll be at the Illinois State Fair. Last week she was at Macoupin County Fair. She just is touring the whole area. And then during the school year, she's going to be focusing more on schools. So Louise is an education powerhouse for us at the St. Louis Dairy Council.
That's awesome. It sounds like a spectacle to see a traveling cow. That
it definitely is. Yeah.
Academia. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what else? So the mobile dairy classroom obviously takes a little break, maybe during the summer, unless you have some events. What else is big for the summertime?
So this month we are also just celebrating dairy on the go because Louise is on the go, but also there's a lot of dairy foods that are good for on the go. So there's, cheese sticks, there's yogurts, little cottage cheeses, but there's also foods you can make. Like our recipe for this month is a kebab with cheese on it, or you could take a smoothie out the door. We're also busy in the summer times. That's the big thing. So figuring out ways that you can take dairy on the go, getting in your 3 servings of dairy that you need every day to get all those important nutrients that dairy provides. And like I said, we're busy during the summer. So sometimes that means taking it on the go.
Absolutely. It says here you're a registered dietitian, and we had on earlier this month, we had someone from a hydration center. They talked a lot about dairy being good for hydration, especially during the summertime. I have those little Baby Bell cheese that I like to take on the go. It's a good little packs a punch of dairy there. But yes, dairy does have a big part of hydration and stuff.
They do absolutely. Actually, a new research article just came out about how how milk can actually hydrate better than water, which is fascinating. So, and the reason for that is because it also provides electrolytes that water alone can't provide. So it can kind of replenish you, especially for people who are busy working out in the summertime. Chocolate milk can be a really great option because it has the perfect balance of protein, carbohydrates, and fats, in addition to those electrolytes I talked about, and B vitamins. And B vitamins are really important for energy. So that can be a really great option this summer if, you just have a busy day out and about and you need a recovery beverage, or if you're, running a marathon. It could be whatever you need to recover, but it's a really great option as well.
That's great. You don't think of milk as being that hydrating drink that you reach for when you're thirsty, but it really can have some great benefits to you when you're struggling to get some of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really great. What else? Let's keep going here. We've been through the mobile station and how many people really know about the farming industry. What else would you wish people knew about dairy farmers and the whole process?
Yes. So connecting farmers to the consumer is one of my passions as a dietitian. I also live on a farm, a row crop farm. So I love connecting people to their food. So the biggest thing that I want to communicate with people is that most farmers in general are family farmers, and their mission is to provide healthy, wholesome foods for people out there, all of the consumers. And also their whole mission is to be as sustainable as possible so that they can pass it down from generation to generation. A lot of times people when they think of food and the food industry, they think of a big industry, and it is a big industry, but a lot of times it's coming from these small family farms that are doing the best they can to provide us with wholesome and nutritious foods.
That's really great. And of course you do think of the big corporations, right when you think about food, and you think of Tyson chicken nuggets, or you think of a big Walmart brand. But you come down here and you drive past some of the local farms. Yeah, these are family farms that you as you mentioned, they're passed down generation to generation. That's such a great thing. And how much longer is that going to be able to last, do you think, these family farms?
They want to last as long as they possibly can. That's why they're working on how to be more efficient and all the time with sustainability so that they can pass it down generation to generation. 96% of farms are still family owned and operated.
I did
yes.
not know that.
Yes. And so that's a statistic a lot of people don't know. And yes, like I said, they're working hard to provide us with those nutritious dairy foods. And one interesting fact is dairy is, I always call it the original local food, because for the time that a cow is milked to the time that milk arrives on a grocery store shelf, it only takes 48 hours. So just 2 days for that to go from the farm and then make it to the shelf, and the whole processing process in between. And the reason for that is because it's local food. So they're taking it from a local farm and getting it to the grocery store that fast because it's close to around here. And you can also look at your milk jug, and there is a code on it, and you can go to whereismymilkfrom.org, and you can see exactly where your milk comes from. So that's an interesting fun fact for June Dairy Month.
That's pretty awesome. You could do. Is there a picture of a cow in there or something? The picture of the cow that donated that milk? No. That sounds. That kind of reminds me of. This is a different interview we had. Is the blood donor app, but you can see where your blood's going. It's kind of a fun way to connect with your milk, and to see how far. And you said 48-hour process to get the milk out of the cow and into the store shelves. That must mean that there are many dairy farms all throughout the country close enough to these
exactly
stores.
In Illinois there are a ton of dairy farms, especially in this area, so it's definitely locally sourced whenever you're picking up your milk from the store.
Would you say the Midwest is kind of the dairy capital, Midwest is kind of dairy capital?
Yeah, I want to say Wisconsin has the most dairy farms. Illinois has quite a few. There are several out in California, and they're spread throughout the country because dairy foods are always pretty local. So they're spread throughout the country, but there's definitely pockets of the U.S. that has more dairy cows. That's for sure.
Right. All right. I'm sitting here with Kelsey Bentledge from the St. Louis Dairy Council. We're getting set here to take our first quick little break of this interview. It's been great so far. We talked mobile classroom. We talked about June Dairy Month and all the great things that dairy can do for you and your human body, keeping you hydrated all summer. You're listening to WTIM's Information Station. We'll be right back.
WTIM.
Tim Zalabak back here on the WTIM Information Station. This interview is brought to you by People's Bank and Trust in Taylorville. I'm sitting down with Kelsey Bentledge from the St. Louis Dairy Council. This first half of the interview, we talked all about the mobile classroom, bringing around Louise. Was that the cow's name? Louise?
Yes,
Louise the cow.
The famous cow.
Famous cow, and showing everybody all the great things that the dairy farm industry has been doing. Now let's talk a little bit more about nutrition, Kelsey, with dairy and us entering into the summer hot weather. How can we use dairy to our benefit?
Yes. So I've already mentioned, but we need to every single day be getting in those 3 servings of dairy. And there's a lot of different ways that we can do that. I always like to say that milk, first and foremost, has 13 essential nutrients in it, including protein, calcium, but also lots of other nutrients like vitamin D, vitamin A, riboflavin, niacin, all of those B vitamins, iodine, zinc, the list really goes on. So 13 essential nutrients. And I always like to say when talking about essential nutrients, that just means that we have to get them from our diet. We have to consume them in some way from our diet, and they're essential to our bodies. And milk contains 13 of them. So that's huge there. Dairy foods, they help grow our teeth and bones, which is super important as well, especially for the young kids. That's really the age that we want to focus on to get their teeth and bones to grow strong so that they're strong for the rest of their lives. Dairy foods can also help with our gut and immune health as well. So foods like yogurt that have live active cultures in them, and also kefir is another option. Those are really good to help boost our microbiome and keep us nice and healthy and everything working smoothly as well. And like I said, the dietary guideline recommends we're having 3 servings of dairy every single day. And that a serving is a cup of milk, a cup of yogurt, or 1.5 ounces of cheese. So whatever way that works for you, and getting them in your diet. If you're not a huge milk drinker, maybe you can squeeze in some more yogurt and cheese to make it work, or work it into your recipes too. So.
Oh, that sounds very doable, hitting those marks, and when you put it like that. Now, what if I don't like milk, or milk doesn't agree with me? How can I get my dairy in?
Yes. So especially if you're lactose intolerant, that's a question I get a lot. One thing I always suggest is there are varying levels of lactose intolerance. So the first step is, okay, milk has the most lactose out of all the dairy foods. So maybe pairing it with another food like milk and cereal, that might help your body to digest it a little bit slower. Now, if that doesn't work for you, yogurt has less lactose in it, and then cheese has the least amount of lactose. So actually some of the aged cheeses out on the market, like Parmesan, some of those harder cheeses have essentially 0 lactose in them. So that's a great way to get your dairy in without having any extra lactose. And then if you're like me and don't want to skip out on your ice cream or milk and things like that, there's also over-the-counter Lactaid pills that can help you to digest some of your favorite dairy foods as well. And then there's a wealth of lactose-free dairy foods out on the market now too. So really there's the sky's the limit. As long as you don't have a dairy allergy, there are plenty of ways to squeeze that dairy into your diet in different ways.
Well, that's really helpful. Now I know to be looking at the lactose and not, just the product that it is. So yeah, there's tons of lactose-free things. And yeah, sometimes it doesn't even matter if I am lactose intolerant or not. Sometimes dairy can just not agree with me. And I'm speaking for me, as in any of the listeners out there. Maybe it is me, you don't know. But yeah, it's really great to know that, yeah, those hard cheeses, like Parmesan cheese, that's a great way to get that in there. And now I know to look for lactose-free things in the store.
Yeah, especially if you have trouble with that.
Yeah,
so
totally.
Yeah. And then also, if you're, struggling to get in your 3 servings of dairy every day, there's so many ways that you can squeeze it into your diet other than just simply drinking a glass of milk, although I love to enjoy that with my breakfast every single day. But you can also work it into your recipes, like maybe a cream-based soup or a smoothie on your way out the door, or instead of making your oatmeal with water, making it with milk. You're adding nutrition there, and you're also getting in your serving of dairy every day. Maybe it's sprinkling cheese on top of your salad or melting it onto your vegetables. There's so many ways that you can sneak it in and really make your meals better with it. Personally, I don't eat broccoli unless it has cheese on it. but that's just me. So whatever works for you and what your preferences are, that's the best way to get your dairy into your diet.
Cheese can really only enhance your meal, and when you have that salad, throwing that Parmesan at the end, that makes it for me. So I totally get what you're saying. You can mix it in there, you can hide it well. So now it is June Dairy Month. What's your favorite part, Miss Kelsey Bentledge? What's your favorite part about June Dairy Month? What are you looking forward to?
I love June Dairy Month mostly because I get to come on to radio stations like WTIM and get to talk about dairy foods and really educate consumers about nutrition while I'm at it. That's the best part for me as a dietitian.
Yeah, that's really great, and I'm sure you're in the great spot. You grew up on a farm, you said, and now you're a dietitian. You can really mix the two with your knowledge of farming and diet. Put them together with your passion, and that sounds great. You've done a great job,
yes,
implementing that and spreading the word of dairy.
Yes,
to everyone.
That's my favorite part of my job. So I'm glad to be here and celebrating June Dairy Month with all of you.
Yeah, without a doubt. So this is Kelsey Bentledge right now. We got about 1 minute left. Well, where can the listeners go to find any information on the events or anything that they need to know about dairy?
Yeah, so head to our website at stldairycouncil.org. We've got blogs on there. We have resources that I talked about lactose intolerance today. We have a whole resource detailing what I talked about on there. But my favorite part of our website is our recipe section. We have limitless recipes. And if you're struggling to get your dairy into your diet, that's a great place to go for inspiration. And this month, we actually have a kebab recipe that has, I believe, Colby Jack, pepper jack, peppers and tomatoes and turkey all on a kebab so that you can kind of take it out the door if you're going for a picnic or anything like that you need to be eating on the go. That's a great dairy on the go option there. So yes, head to our website. There's lots of good resources there.
Amazing. This was Kelsey Bentledge from the St. Louis Dairy Council here on WTIM's Information Station. My name is Tim Zalbeck. Thank you so much for listening.
WTIM